you will fall off. You might ask, well, what do you mean you will fall off? Here's the thing. There isn't a single person on this planet that hasn't fallen down at some point. Is that Rocky scene where Rocky is talking to his son about it not being all sunshine and rainbows. And then he goes on to say, it's not about how hard you get hit. No, it's not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Okay, so it's not that you won't fall off. It's not that you won't have times where you're struggling. It's not that you won't have times where you miss a fucking gym session. That's gonna happen. Okay? Like, of course, do you want to get a 900-day workout streak? Of course you do. Is that gonna happen? God knows. Okay? But there will come times when you miss a part of your routine. You miss this one task. And so there is this concept that I have, and it's an idea that helps you spot when you're about to fall off. Because usually, like when you look at life, there are certain periods when you're more likely to fall off. Like 10 times more likely to fall off. Look, like when you're just at home and you're going to the gym, and maybe you cut down on your social shit, okay? Maybe you're doing less dumb shit with your day. When you're in kind of that state of mind and you're just, going about your own shit, especially like if you don't have a chick and if you're not going out doing whatever the fuck, you're kind of just locked in, and so you don't really have anything else to do than just, go to the gym, work out, focus on your business, whatever you gotta do, right? Now, the problem usually comes with a disruption event, so you might ask, the fuck is a disruption event? Also, this is a term that I came up with. I think it was when I went into the military, right? And so, really, it's a term that symbolizes massive change in your life. Something that disrupts your normal routine. Like you can imagine, right? You're living at home, whatever, everything's good. Then you go into the military, okay? Like, what will that do to your life? Now, obviously, it's massively going to disrupt your everyday life, because now all of a sudden you're waking up at a completely different place. You're constantly surrounded by people instead of being alone. You're getting told what to do. All of a sudden, maybe you're gonna start waking up at 5 a.m. You used to wake up at 11. Okay, so that's massively gonna disrupt your life. Okay, that's one disruption event. Now, of course, there are other ones as well. And this goes, like, you have to understand, this can be literally anything that alters the way your day-to-day life goes. And alters it massively. Like, is a vacation a disruption event? And that's a good question. And to that I would say it's not really. Because you can go on a 7-day vacation. Granted, you want to mentally focus. Okay, I'm not gonna work. It's a vacation. I'm gonna try to, you kind of want to go into this adventure mode. Like borderline hedonistic. Now maybe don't take your phone on grayscale. Maybe stay somewhat locked in. Meditation obviously helps. But you kind of want to let go if you if you specifically take a day off, if you specifically go on vacation, more so vacation, you kind of want to let go and just try to explore as much as possible. Go on an adventure. Just do a bunch of shit. Try a bunch of shit. Learn as much as you can of that new place. Can be a neighboring city if you haven't been there. Can be another country. I was in Georgia at the beginning of the year. It was really fucking interesting. Also, but when you're in that place, you don't have to sit there and go, oh, fuck, self-improvement, I gotta go to the gym. Now, obviously, if you start to be 2 weeks, then, yeah, you kind of have to start going, okay, shit, I gotta meditate again. But if you're just 7 days, if you're 4 days especially, you don't have to try to stay locked in that sense. You just go and leave, and then once you come back, then you lock back in to your routine. But as for the disruption events, what a disruption event really is it can be as simple as you don't have a job, you're just focused on business money, you go, I kind of want some more money, so I'll get a job. Then you get that job. That is a disruption event, because it might fuck up your routine, as you might tell. How? Well, one way to look at it is if you've been going to the gym at, let's say, 1 p.m. Like, you feel that that's okay, that's my gym time, 1 p.m. But then you get a job and all of a sudden you're shit. It's like you realize, I can't go to the gym at 1 p.m. So when do I go to the gym? Do I go before? Do I go after? And now you're in this state of chaos where it's disrupted the way you do things. Another one, like kind of the opposite of this, would be you have a job, you make 3 grand per month, and you lose that job. And now you gotta sit there and go, fuck. What do I do now? Because now you're going to the state where, okay, I gotta do job applications, but let's say work construction, and you're not used to sitting in front of a computer, sending job applications, writing, thinking, because you're just done construction. And so, it's anything that massively disrupts your life, your day-to-day rhythm. And so what happens with those things is that it comes into your life, and it messes up your routines. And so let's say you were that motherfucker that was at the gym 5 days per week, maybe you did some cardio as well. You're gonna go quite quickly from that to being lost. Purely because of how much it throws you off. Okay. Because like let's say you have certain meal times, you have a certain time when you work out, your morning routine takes a certain amount of time. When something hits you like this, and when you kind of take away that structure from the day, and those habits, those routines, you kind of suddenly end up in this sort of no man's land. And like that's what happens to humans when you take routine away. So then the question is, well, if it can disrupt you in the sense of everything's fine, you're chilling, you're going to the gym, and now all of a sudden you start missing meditation, everything's fucked. How do you deal with that? The first thing you gotta do is just realize, okay, this is a disruption event. And you ideally want to realize it and understand it before you go into the situation. It's like, if you go on a vacation, you want to mentally note, okay, I'll be in Sweden for 2 days, I'll do this. Fuck my routines, I'll just focus on whatever. I'll just do whatever the fuck, I'm on a vacation. Okay. You want to mentally clarify to yourself the situation you're in. And so like when a disruption event comes, like ideally, like if you're looking for a job, you can always go like, okay, I'll get this job. I'm aware that, okay, I'll have to change my meal timings a bit, I'll have to change the gym, as you're mentally prepared, so that when you get the job, it doesn't shock your routine as much, and you can more smoothly adapt to it. Rather, like if you're in a situation where you get laid off suddenly, then obviously you can't adapt necessarily in the same way, so you kind of gotta take a step back and go, okay, what is the situation I'm in? Okay, I don't have a job. Okay, what do I do now? Well, okay, I gotta make a plan. How do I deal with this? What do I want my routine to look like? Also, you kind of go like that. But you gotta be aware, okay, I'm being disrupted. Now, the second thing with these disruption events is that while you're in a period of everything going just fine, like you're surfing above the wave, you might have gotten to a point where your routine starts to actually be more complicated than it should be. Okay. David Goggins roughly has this idea in terms of, it's like mental bandwidth or something. So like when you go throughout the day, normally, like you could technically run every day at 95% capacity, okay, of your like max effort of how much you can get done in a day. The issue with running through life in that way is that when you get disrupted even 10%, never mind 50, but if you get disrupted 10%, it's gonna mess you up completely, right? Like you're completely done. Like something's gonna break, because you can't do 105% of your capacity. And so that's where it becomes extremely important to have simple routines. Okay, like personally, I fluctuated between having 3 times 3 routines. So like morning routine is 3 steps daytime. Like I work, I do these 3 things, go to the gym, eat. Evening routine 3 steps. To like having it at 5 steps. And like what I've noticed is that you can do 5 steps for your routines, but then once you start getting disrupted by something, you get a job, whatever, you lose a job, you go into the military, because you have these 5 step routines, and especially if you do more than that, you've gotten them to a level where it's so complicated that when even a little bit of disruption comes into your life, it's gonna completely throw you off. And the routine is so complicated that essentially the whole thing is gonna crumble like a fucking pyramid built out of cards. And so that's why a simple routine is really important. Because when you have a simple routine, a simple baseline, it's much easier to stick to that no matter what happens, because it's that clear. And so that's why my morning routine is 3 steps. Okay? It's get ready, meditate, go outside 15 minutes. Because no matter what happens, it's like, okay, boom, boom, boom. Not boom, 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 wait, what was I supposed to do? Okay, it's this thing, then I think it's this thing. Okay, wait, I gotta check my phone. Now, of course, when you're first doing a routine, you might have to check your phone to get into the habit of it. But really, if you keep it to 3 and you really limit how complex the routine can get, it's massively going to help you to just stick to it, because you'll mentally be able to go, okay, right now what do I gotta focus on? Okay, it's this, or this. Okay, boom, done, easy, simple. So that's gonna help you a shit ton. Now, even then, it might be the case that a couple of days you might miss gym, you might miss this, you might like something's gonna be fucked up. So this is like when understanding consistency really matters. And so consistency, of course, like you can think of it as streaks, but it's not really that, is it? It's more like, what's the percentage of the days this year that you done X, Y, Z? So it's not never missing a day of meditation, it's how consistently have you been meditating, or you're making progress in it. It's literally just that. So you kind of want to get this idea out of your head that you have to be completely perfect in terms of streaks, and that you're completely fucked if you don't hit all the streaks. It's like, look, sometimes you're just gonna fall down. Like, ideally, yeah, do the streaks, hit the gym 5,000 days in a row. Now, if that doesn't happen, and you miss a day, it's not that you've lost all your progress. You're still massive, and so really the consistency of this whole thing is more about how quickly can you get back up. How quickly can you get back on track? Like, it's the same with meditation. How quickly can you refocus on your breath? And so that kind of translates into this whole thing of how quickly can you get back up. And so when you do notice that you're in a disruption event and you have your routine fairly simple, really your focus should be, okay, this happened, this is the situation we're in, now I just gotta get back on track ASAP. Okay, and so getting back up as fast as possible, quite frankly, is the solution. Also, like, prevent it as much as you can. Simplify your routine, because that's gonna make it not necessarily bomb-proof, but way easier to stick through everything that's gonna happen in your life. And then it's just a question of how quickly can you get back up, how quickly can you get refocused on the routine. And again, the more simple your routine is, the easier it's gonna be to regain control of it. The longer you've been doing the routine, the easier it's gonna be to regain control of it. But that's really kind of the last thing you want to focus on, is just getting back on track. Okay. Now, obviously it can be a bit hard depending on the situation. Like if you're in the military, Are you used to meditating in the morning, but now you wake up and you gotta go eat? Like, okay, maybe you gotta replan a bit. Okay, maybe you move meditation to like when you have free time or whatever. Like, you gotta figure some things out. But really, you wanna look the situation in the eye and then don't stay down for too long. Dust yourself off, get back up, get back on track, and attack the day. See you in the next one.